Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And yes, working nightmare versus Halloween versus religion versus Christianity versus family versus getting out of getting fired or kicked out. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say there's a long story. But anyway, yeah. This is a working nightmare, my first working nightmare story. So, yay. And I thought this would be a perfect story because it's getting to fall, getting into the Halloween spirit. People might start be thinking about their Halloween costume, and especially coming from someone who is a Christian, I go to quote unquote a mega church. I still go to them, but with all of the political stuff they say now, because even when I was younger, I got stories, especially when it was voting time. Our bishop used to invite all of the Republicans to the church, put them on the stage, and we had to repeat their names and we had to hear their spiel. And literally, our bishop would tell us to vote, like, remember who you're voting for, remember their names. And part of me's just like when I got older, I was just like, that was that illegal? I have a feeling that was illegal what he did to because sometimes especially when the internet came up, it's like I started looking up the people because I'm just like, it's not fair. You're telling us to vote for these people, but what about the other side? And especially after I was taking, I won't say my teacher's name or whatever, but it's like when it came to politics, I kept thinking, I don't fit Republican. I really don't fit Republican. But then my family members kept telling me, you're a Republican, you're a Republican. So, and that comes with the subject a lot. So you'll see why. But as a Christian Democrat who I love, I'm a very creative person. I'm writing a novel with superheroes. In one of the novels, one has a Grim Reaper with a stripper scene and everything. Oh yeah, and I have aliens and the superheroes. So with me, I love fantasy. I love just the imagination, thinking outside the box, people having a chance to be someone different. And so sometimes, with my church, the way they talk about Halloween and it's demonic, you're going to hell if you celebrate it. And it's like, and it's like instead of people celebrating the day for different reasons, my church turns it into like a fall festival instead. But I don't, yeah, I have my own views with being able to dress because to me, it's like I love cosplay. So to me, I just feel like it's a day where everyone can cosplay and you're not going to be judged. Especially, you could be older in cosplay, but no one's going to say you're too old to cosplay. So, anyway, you're going to see why this all fits in. But I was working at this school in the inner city. Yeah, the same school I've been talking about. And I started off at the school as a substitute teacher here and there, hopping around different schools. But then and this was with a different principal, but he got found to be doing illegal stuff with money. He was stealing the money. Anyway, I got to the school and there was a new um, principal, and she was pretty cool. And I remember the day she came up to me because I was like, "Oh, how long are you going to need me?" And she was like, "Oh, how long you want to be here?" And to me, I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty much retiring from promotional modeling, so I was like, I can do I can do every day probably." And she was like, "Okay, every day." And so I was just like, "Oh, okay." And so I remember with the substitute teaching place, because she told me, I still don't know if she actually did it, but she called the substitute place offering to buy out the contractor buyout so that she can just hire me on staff. And they refused. And so basically, just every week she would pay the substitute teaching company for me to work at the school. And I was a computers because, well, one of my masters is in teaching and training with technology. So I was hoping to teach the kids how to create like spreadsheets, Excel sheets, and with my advertising like experience, like, oh, how to format and create different images and things. And since this was like a technology, like TV production type of school, I was like, wow, this is perfect because with the computers and stuff and with the cameras, maybe I can figure out different ways to put the two together, even creating commercials and stuff. Anyway, I ended up being there for about 4 or 4.5 years. And I think it was year 3 where it was around Halloween season. And I remember she made this announcement 2 times. I think the first time was in front of everybody, so all of the students and everyone. And she said that all of the teachers are going to be in costume on Halloween. And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, all of the teachers that celebrate, right? Right? Yeah, because not everyone celebrates Halloween. So I was like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just talk to her later on, because it's just part of me is just like, and how are you gonna make an announcement like that before you announce it to all the teachers? Shouldn't you first give the teachers a heads up and everything? So anyways, I decide during lunchtime or when I'm able to bump into her, I'll talk to her and let her know that, yeah, at my church, it's like even reading Harry Potter, they said that's a sin. Reading any books with a witch or with spells or potions or anything like that, it's a sin. So, just, or Halloween themed in any way. And so I bump into her and she was like, no. It's like, if you do not wear a Halloween costume, then you don't come back. You don't work November. You don't come back. And I'm just like, what? Uh, so we're fired if we don't wear even though it's against our, like, what our church says. And she was just like, yes, you're understanding. And I'm just like, okay, dang. Because, and so I just remember it was a few days to a week before Halloween. And so I'm thinking, okay, because I'm still living at home because trying to pay off 2 masters with student loans, and since still couldn't find a career job in a marketing company because almost every interview, why do you walk funny? Why do you walk like that? When are you going to get that fixed? Is that permanent? Is that contagious? What's wrong with you? Why do you walk like that? Do you know you walk funny? It's like, or did you get in an accident? Like, and part of me is just like, do you know these questions are illegal? Do you? Do you? But then at the same time, at the job interviews, you're like the most qualified candidate we have so far. But then I don't get the job. Then they tell me you're overqualified. Oh, so, but then when I do get jobs, people say it's only because I'm black. Yes, I put that in there because it's just, even the novel and the projects I'm working on now, like, especially some of the things white men tell me, it's jaw dropping. Oh, the only reason you're able to do this is because you're black. The only reason you were able to get your master's, or the only reason, like, you learned how to, like, A, B, and C or whatever, because even starting my greeting card business, it's only because I'm black. But anyways, it's kind of off topic, but I know, just over the last several years, people judge me either, you just got diagnosed with your disability. Why? And it's like, you still, like, you lived at home with your parents, you still live, or you still do, or just judge. Like, sometimes people can choke on their judgment, because especially if you don't know a person's story, and especially there are some people on my Facebook, they act like they puke rainbows and butterflies. But in the back of the scene, they're in the middle of a divorce. They are going through like trauma, sobriety, so many other things. So while I say some parts of my story, people are gonna judge me, and I tell my life story at the beginning of YouTube. So if you go back and look at some of my beginning stories, you're gonna learn. I like about the misdiagnosis, and it kind of is included in this tale because I was stuck. I was stuck through having to decide, am I going to have a place to live, or am I going to have a job to work? Because I get home and I try to tell both of my parents the situation, where either I wear a costume or I don't have a job. And my mother told me, well, if you wear a costume, then you won't have anywhere to live. And then I go to my father, and he said, well, your mother's right. We are not going to have anybody sinning in this house. We are not going to have anybody trying to do what the devil would want you to do. It's like, why are you working at a school that's promoting the devil's work, anyways? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe God is telling you that you need to leave this devil work. But then they forget all of the job interviews I've been to, and and even my mother says, well, you need to learn how to walk then you'll get a proper job. See? Do you kind of see my dilemma? Just a little bit. Do you see my dilemma? So now I have to decide, am I going to have a job, or am I going to have a house? Am I going to be homeless or jobless? So I am in my room, halfway having a panic. Like, I didn't have a panic attack, but I felt the signs of it, crying, getting emotional, because I'm just like, what am I going to do? And it's like, I'm trying to be responsible, but how can I be responsible with religion and work at the same, like, there's no balance. I can't do both. And then I realized, like, I would have to order a costume immediately if I'm going to be homeless. But then if I'm going to be homeless, I can't spend all this money because I'm going to need money for hotels and things. And so, and then, yeah. And I'm also even going to start having to pack or figure out what I'm going to take with me. Like, I am thinking about all of this stuff. And I know, like, my mom is looking closer at, like, so what did you decide? Like, you better not have decided, but like, just so throughout the next few days, she's looking over my shoulder, and like, she keeps saying, like, oh, I think I got a package in the mail. So she opened it because she had to make sure it wasn't a costume, and I think she felt kind of dumb when she did open it, and if she didn't, then she should have. Yeah, I said it. I don't even like, because I don't know. Part of me is just like, okay, I'm preparing to move out just in case. So I'm not hiding anything. If you want to see it, then like, so. But I just kept thinking in my head, how can I get away with both? How? So I am thinking and think like, oh, I'm stressing out at work, and literally, like, I don't know. It was just like something dawned in my head, because I'm like, okay, what is a Disney character that I can portray and no one will know about? I love Disney, so to me, I'm like, Disney to the rescue, please help me. And then I realized I had a costume, and it was a really rainy October. So, yeah, I thought of my idea. It's like Mary Poppins, Mary Poppins. And it was a costume where everything was at the house. And with the dresses I wear, some of the dresses I have, they fit the theme. So I remember I went to the um, pool that we have, put the umbrella, and then the jacket that is similar. I put them both in the trunk of the car. So at least I'm like, hey, I, I didn't buy a costume, and it's everyday wear. Because like to me, I'm just like, it's a costume without being a costume. And so I got to work and I had my umbrella, I had my jacket, and I remember the first graders and some of the other, like even some of the middle schoolers. Oh my gosh, that's so cute! Oh my gosh, that's like you're a Black Mary Poppins. So it's like I even had an empty bottle for like the song, the medicine goes down and everything. So it's I mean, I did a pretty good job, and I have a stuffed penguin, but I didn't want to go overboard, and especially like in case my mom wanted to decide to look in my car, that would just give it away or whatever. So I didn't. But I was able to basically have a costume without having a costume. But it really frustrated me because some of the teachers, their quote unquote costumes, like there was the one that called, like, students recorded her. Students record, like, and more than five students recorded her calling me Miss Cripple or Teacher Cripple or the disabled teacher. Or like, yeah, she called me crippled, she called me disabled, she called me the R word. So many students would either tell me, and some students were able to take, like, slide their cell phones out and sneak record her. Guess what her costume was? She bobby pinned a dollar bill on her shirt. She was a dollar bill. But literally all she did was bobby pin a dollar bill to her shirt. And she got away with it. She got to keep her job. And I'm just like, are you serious? I've been stressing out, and you literally told me if I didn't do this, I was going to lose my job. And now you have a teacher who, like, when I try to teach or talk about stocks and investing to the students, you would tell the students I was trying to turn them white. When I tried to create history rap battles with the middle schoolers, because most of them were on a third grade reading level, and I was trying to motivate them by teaching phonics through rap. It's like you put them down, you told them that they weren't smart enough. When I tried to create battles and things like that, because I created math worksheets, and each month I created a new one. It was a puzzle, and she had the nerve to go to one of the students. He was trying so hard, and after the first one, like, it was like he improved so much. I was so proud of him. But I remember one time he came into my classroom in tears, and like, he wouldn't tell me why, and I found out he was scared to tell me because he knew I was probably going to go up to that teacher because she was getting on my nerves. But other students came to me and told me she told him to his face out loud in front of everyone, "You think you're smart for this? You're not smart enough for this. You're not good enough for this. You think you're going to go somewhere? You're not going anywhere. Why do you try? This isn't even homework. Why are you doing her stuff? Why are you doing her stuff? This is stupid." Oh, I was so upset. Oh, I was so upset. But did anything happen to her? No. And sometimes it just showed me how much the principal, like, she let some people get away with anything and everything. But then there's some other teachers who it's like they would literally be having to drown before she might, like, not even a life raft. She might throw a lifesaver in there and be like, hey, good luck, whatever, or don't get it wet, whatever. So, but it was just so frustrating because literally you're going to fire somebody who works their tush off, tries to motivate, try to bring in new things, new ideas to excite and show the students that there's more to the in the world. But then you have teachers who tell students the only thing you're ever going to do is work fast food. And I had one joke about fast food. Like when I had a group of boys who cheated, like all they do is copy off of other people's. They threaten they're gonna beat up students if they don't. Like I want to call them so many things right now. And actually, they might almost be 18, so I might. So in another episode, I might do that too because I'm petty. And they treated them like monsters, or they acted like monsters. But yeah, with one of them, I was like, if you keep cheating like this, the only thing you're going to know about me is that I like my chicken nuggets with honey mustard. That's the only thing you're going to know if you keep doing this. If you keep cheating, if you keep stealing, if you keep copying off of others, if you never put work into the ethics. And I'm not saying everybody who works fast food, but that's like I was trying to motivate. So yeah, I know some people are not gonna like that, but I'm being honest. And in life, not everyone likes you. I'm ready for that. And so, as like, I don't want people thinking that I'm only going to show the ugly and awful of other people. And at the same time, some of the most amazing people I know work fast food. So, and I have students who their dream was to be a manager at like either Wendy's or Burger King or well McDonald's and things like that. So with them, I was like, oh, if that's your dream, it's like sometimes I even found a math game where it's like it was multiplication. Like okay, if they're ordering two of the fries and they see the price and things like that. So it's like I tried my best to equip them, but it's like since this student kept saying he was going to be a famous basketball player and he was going to make all this money and all this other stuff, it's just like, huh, okay. With the work ethic you have right now. But anyway, it's like part of me just feels like I'll admit some of my wrongs, I'll admit some of my dirty, and it's like I'm gonna have to figure out other ways to let students realize that they need to work hard, and at the same time, we need people and we need to lift the minimum wage. I'll say that again. We need to lift the minimum wage and tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich, and also charge taxes on the churches who try to force you to vote a certain political way, like mine used to. But anyway, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. And again, we need to lift the minimum wage, tax the rich, and treat humans like humans. Appreciate education, appreciate your teachers, and also think of different plans because yeah, there's other ideas I was having planned for that for the school year for the Halloween, but I was so stressed out I couldn't do any of it because I was so stuck on how I was going to be able to stay at the house and have a job. It's you can't. It's like to me, I'm just like it's irresponsible for bosses to do that to their employees. Bye.